Chapter 62, Unrivaled Tyrant Body. Another month passed by without notice. During these days, Han Yi didn't go anywhere and stayed on Pure Yang Peak for cultivation. He would tend his spirit fields, fertilize them, and ask Wang Daniu to gather attributes. His cultivation and the purity of his spiritual roots surged like flowing water, soon reaching the bottleneck of the river realm. His triple spirit roots underwent a transformation towards dual spirit roots. The purity of his fire and earth attributes gradually increased, and, even without a key nurturing pill, the river realm seemed within reach. What frustrated him was that it was extremely difficult to drop the attributes of the spiritual roots. It was necessary to circulate the spiritual roots for a chance to pick them up, and only about a dozen could be collected in a day. On the other hand, strength of a bull kept dropping. As long as Han Yi sparred with Wang Daniu, the trigger frequency was extremely high. In the span of a month, he picked up at least 100 points, causing the Dragon Tiger physique attribute to undergo another transformation, promoting to the prestigious purple attribute. Unrivaled Tyrant Body Purple, strength that can move mountains, key that covers the world, perfect foundation, invincible physical body. Immune to blades and swords, impressive restoration of flesh, muscles, and bones, vibrant ki and blood, demons retreat. Initially, he was curious about how astonishing the recovery ability could be. It wasn't until he gave it a try that he discovered its defiance of the natural order. Ordinary iron swords could not harm a single hair on his body, and he could easily receive a blade with his bare hands. Therefore, he could only use the Profound Thunder Blade magical artifact to scrape a small wound on his skin. The violent purple electric light quickly charred his skin surface, but no fresh blood seeped out. The wound healed itself in the blink of an eye. His self-healing ability was extraordinarily strong. As for the power of his physical body, it was even more terrifying. Han Yi currently had a perfect dragon tiger physique, which didn't disappear, but resided within his arms. With the dragon on the left and the tiger on the right, as he deployed true ki, they would gather in his arm. And the roar and growl noise of the tiger and dragon would resonate. Before, his physical strength was only 1,000 jin, but now, without deploying true ki, his punch exceeded several tens of thousands of jin. He felt that he could defeat key cultivators of the same realm with one punch. Even disciples of the river realm in key cultivation were no match for him, except for geniuses like Lanyu. His strength improved greatly, which created a positive feedback loop and made Han Yi cultivate with even more energy and enthusiasm. One day, it was still early morning, but Han Yi was already sitting on the highest peak of Pure Yang Peak, overlooking the rising and falling clouds and the rising morning sun. Since everyone was fully engrossed in their training, even staying up late and devoted to cultivating, then I would be even more devoted. I simply won't sleep at all. Have you ever seen the first ray of dawn on Pure Yang Peak? Ihavi, in front of Han Yi, among the many mountains, the eastern sea welcomed the sunrise, enveloped in purple mist. Drifting golden rosy clouds, while the brilliant hues of the day filled Zuancheng in their shift. Facing the morning glow, he began the second level of the Dragon Sparrow Key. Nurturing technique, perceiving mountains without seeing mountains. The sky along the horizon turned a massive swath of red for a very long time, and the color of the peaks and ridges contrasted more brilliantly under the dawn. The golden clouds in front of him suddenly changed, either occupying the sky like tigers and leopards, or dancing like phoenixes and cranes. The colors were eye-catching, the impressions being changed at first glance, and were transforming constantly every moment. This is what they call imagery. It wasn't a waste to come watch the sunrise early in the morning and comprehend the meaning. In just half a stick of incense, Han Yi was able to sense the spirit of all things and their imagery as mentioned in Senior Sister's teaching. Looking out from the empty top of his mind, the views were broadened. And with broadened views, his spirit lightened and his fatigue decreased, aiding the improvement of his understanding abilities. All rivers flow east to the sea. When will they return west? Looking at the rising sun, Han Yi felt inexplicably emotional. Upon reflecting, he found that he'd been at the sect for 2.5 months. The distance from Langlang Village seemed to be increasing. Was his previous self too insignificant? I cannot waste this precious time. Now that Han Yi had mastered the mind-stabilizing technique, even if he didn't sleep, meditating in place for a short while could be equivalent to 3 or 4 hours of sleep, and he would be full of energy. As he faced the sunrise, he began the Hanshin 5 Elements gang, which he had completely mastered over the month. What he lacked was a true understanding of the concept. As soon as that understanding came forth, he would officially step into the 5 Elements gang. So, amidst the sunrise at the mountain summit, a youth in blue robe waving his fists was added to the scene. With robes blowing in the mountain wind and creating a pang-pang sound, his kung fu was full of vigor and his footwork robust. At a glance, it was like a captivating painting. With his eyes closed, Han Yi felt the subtleties within the rising sun. The exquisite essence of punches lay not within the body, but outside it, within all things. As long as he could combine the image of the sun with his punch, he could comprehend the fire gang. Within his 5 senses, the crisply refreshing morning wind that blew across the mountains. Even the rustling of leaves seemed to slow down as if time had paused. All of a sudden, an invisible stream of ki between heaven and earth rushed into Han Yi's Danshin. Like a newly sprouted bud, a strand of radiant firelight appeared in the Danshin and was perceivable by Han Yi. This is ferocious fire gang ki. His words were full of excitement and exhilaration. This meant that the door to divine power had opened for him. This wisp of weak, ferocious fire gang ki was still persisting, evolving from a thread-like line into a ceaseless river. The heavenly, earthly, spiritual ki poured into his limbs and bones like a flood being released, filling him with power from head to toe. Han Yi stared at the ferocious fire gang ki leaping in his fist, his gaze firm and bright. Although he could not fly in the sky or burn his enemies in the void, using the ferocious fire gang ki like his elder sister, he had at least made a start. Could it be that the process of comprehension he had just gone through was the understanding of a fist? Looking at the rising sun, Han Yi smiled happily. It seemed that the position of the senior brother was his for the taking. You have cultivated the fire gang? In the cave mansion rich in spiritual ki, Shen Yuxiang, still unadorned and in her plain and elegant skirt, her hair simply strewn behind her, was a little surprised to hear Han Yi's report at the doorway. Yes, elder sister, look. Han Yi showed off his ferocious fire gang ki, the bright red flames illuminating the brilliant forest. Sister Shen, seeing this scene, nodded with satisfaction. Very good, it is indeed ferocious fire gang ki. Wait for me for a while, I will take you to see our master instantly. Shen Yuxiang turned and went back to her cave mansion. It was about the time span of an incense stick burning when Sister Shen finally came out. Dressed in the white robes of a direct disciple, her hair neatly combed to her temples. Her makeup was exceptionally simple and mild. Along the way, many disciples were just getting up to cultivate. At such an early time, watching Sister Shen leading someone towards the Pure Yang Grand Hall, they all turned their eyes on them. Another direct disciple, dressed in the white robes, turned his head and greeted them as he was. Explaining to many disciples, Shen Yuxiang, why did you get up so early today? Sister Shen, smiling, boasted, Zhu Qingshan, I'm going to claim the rewards set by our master this year. I do have a disciple under me who has grasped the Hanshin 5 Elements gang. What? That disciple referred to as Zhu Qingshan, another direct disciple, was surprised and somewhat unwilling to accept it. It's only been a month, how is it possible? It is extremely difficult to make key practitioners understand the mysteries of divine skills. Let alone mastering them within a few months, it's like reaching for the sky. You don't have to concern yourself anyway, I have taught one, and I won't chat with you anymore. Sister Shen, full of pride, headed for the Great Hall. Who is this senior brother? Han Yi followed and asked curiously. Sister Shen quickly replied, Zhu Qingshan, he's another direct disciple. In addition to me, there are other direct disciples responsible for teaching divine skills. Together, the inner and outer sects of Pure Yang Peak have over 1,000 people. We need someone to teach, so it's one of the duties of a direct disciple. I don't mind telling you, to teach you, our master has released A lot of generous resources, even the qualification to enter this year's secret realm. Han Yi then understood that there was competition among the direct disciples too. Sister Shen, who was responsible for guiding their team's cultivation, was not doing it for nothing. To encourage them, their master set rewards such as prizes and quotas. It's just that I got up a bit early today, so I'm a bit sleepy. Shen Yuxiang lazily yawned. Does elder sister even need to sleep? Han Yi felt this was very unreasonable. After all, when a cultivator reaches a certain level, they shouldn't need to sleep anymore. Upon hearing this, Shen Yuxiang laughed, turned her head and asked, "Do you think sleep is only used for sleeping?" This, Han Yi couldn't quite comprehend. When you reach the Golden Core stage, you will understand that strenuous practice can no longer close the gap between cultivators. Some gaps were already predestined at the starting line as we have passed the stage of hard work in cultivation. Therefore, an epiphany on the Tao becomes even more critical. Hearing this, Han Yi fell into deep thought. Isn't cultivation a pursuit for freedom and joy? You can understand that being able to do what you want at this stage is conducive to cultivation. You will understand it when the time comes.